Morning, all. All right, well, the Islanders did it. The Islanders have re-signed Matthew Barzal. Now, what's funny is that yesterday I did a video on pending free agents and which ones were going to get paid. Didn't mention Barzal. Barzal was entering the final year, well, is in the final year of a 3-year deal, $21 million in total being paid to him out of that one. So a $7 million cap hit. So I didn't look at that one and say, well, he's going to get a big raise, but he did. So he gets an 8-year extension from the New York Islanders, which kicks in next year, which is worth $9.15 million per season. And as soon as I saw this, I didn't even need to look online. I thought people are going to say he's being overpaid. Now, I really think that there's a gamble being taken here by Lou Lamoriello. All long-term contracts are gambles anyways. But I think the gamble is that he's going to get back to being the Mat Barzal he was the year before Lou Lamoriello took over as GM. So Barzal's the 16th pick in 2015. The 2015 draft is ridiculously talented and is probably going to be the highest paid draft class in history. I'm going to go out on a limb with that one. There are a lot of players in this draft class now making $9 million or more. So 2016-17, he made his debut with the Islanders, had 2 games, no points there. So 0.00 his points per game. 2017-2018, he plays all 82 games for the Islanders, scores 22 goals, which to this point is still a career high, 63 assists, which was 5th overall in the NHL that year for 85 points. He won the Calder Trophy, and he scored at an average of 1.05 points per game. Then his points totals drop. Barry Trotz takes over. So if we look at things, and we look at this under, before and after Trotz, you can see his points totals drop. But to me, it felt like Barzal was buying into the team game and not worried about the individual stats. So the talent is still there. His first year under Trotz in 82 games, 18 goals, 44 assists for 62 points. So his points per game dropped to .76, which looks like struggling. Feels like struggling. But to me, again, it felt like he was buying into the system being coached by Barry Trotz. In the playoffs, he added 2 goals for 5 assists. 2 goals with 5 assists for 7 points in 8 games. 2019-2020, in 68 games, 19 goals, 41 assists, 60 points. His points per game was .88 that season. In the playoffs, he added 5 goals, 12 assists for 17 points in 22 games. So played very well in the playoffs. Solid points per game considering it's playoffs. It's harder to score then than it is during the regular season. Then the shortened 2021 season, 55 games, 17 goals, 28 assists, 45 points. His points per game, .82. In the playoffs, 19 games, 6 goals, 8 assists, 14 points. So again, he's a good playoff performer. And then this past season in 73 games, 15 goals, 44 assists, 59 points. The .81 points per game is the second lowest in his career behind the first year under Barry Trotz. I think the gamble here is that under a new coach with some new systems being put in place, that Barzal gets back to being a point-per-game player. I think he should at least be a point-per-game player. I know that there are going to be a lot of people who look at this contract and say, wow, I wonder how much money this guy's going to be worth if Barzal's worth that amount. But I think people do underestimate and underrate Barzal. In 362 career games, 91 goals, 220 assists for 311 points. And if it wasn't Trotz, if he was in a system where he was encouraged to score more and be a little more creative, I think he'd have at least 40 more career points. I would think 10 more points per season it's reasonable. I think it's reasonable. In a career in the playoffs, 49 playoff games to this point played by him, 13 goals, 25 assists, 38 points. So if we look at his ice time and we look at face-offs, power play goals, I think power play goals, and I think goals in general are an area that Barzal can improve in. Barzal is a pass-first guy, and pass-first players are great and all, but there are times where you might be yelling, shoot, while he has the puck, right? This past season, his shooting percentage was below 10%, but in general, his shooting percentage has been in the 11 to 12% range. His first year, it was just the 2 games in 2016-17. He only played 9 minutes, 45 seconds on average. His face-off percentage, 46.2%, which oddly enough is higher than it's been. No power play goals or assists because he had no points. 2017-18, 17 minutes and 46 seconds on average. 42.6% on faceoffs. One area he needs to work on. Absolutely. 5 power play goals. 22 power play assists that year. And as I said, he won the Calder. And yet his ice time was lower than it was during the time that he was coached by Trotz. Went up to 17.55 the first year under Trotz, 41.6% on the faceoffs, 3 power play goals, 15 power play assists. So his numbers drop off even though he's playing more. Now, the following season, 2019-2020, he actually had the most ice time he's played in terms of on average. He only played 68 games that year. The pause messed up how many games everybody played. 20 minutes and 3 seconds per game that year. 41.6% on faceoffs again. 4 power play goals, 8 power play assists. 2020-2021, his ice time dropped to 18.44. Interestingly enough, he loses almost a minute and a half of ice time per game, and his points per game dropped from 0.88 to 0.82. So that didn't seem to have a big influence on how many points he scored per game. But his faceoffs did get a little better, 43.4%, 1 power play goal, 7 power play assists. So considering he had 45 points in 55 games, if that power play is a little better, he probably would have been right up near a point per game. 2021-2022 in 18 minutes, almost exactly, but it's 18 minutes and 1 second per game, 46.3% on the faceoff circle. If he can improve that, that'd help tremendously as well. Just the 1 power play goal, 19 power play assists. So just 2 power play goals in the last 2 seasons for Barzal. A player who is, I think, supremely talented, and it hasn't shown on the score sheet. I think the talent is there, though, and I think that's part of the reason why a change is made behind the bench. Obviously, missing the playoffs gives Lou Lamoriello the impetus to make a change, but I think that the progression of careers of young players like Barzal, maybe on some level Dobson as well, though Dobson had a tremendous season last year. I do think that that's part of the reason why we saw a change behind the bench. I think Barzal's capable of being a point per game player. I think that he has the speed, the skill, and everything. I think if he can improve his faceoffs, he can become one of the better centers in the National Hockey League. I think his faceoff percentage definitely holds that back. But I mean, honestly, I think this is an investment the Islanders can afford. I looked at it; they still have a little over $12 million in cap space next season, providing that the cap goes up to $83.5 million next year. So they're not in any kind of a cap problem. There's no cap problem right now at the New York Islanders. And again, it feels like Lou Lamoriello is doubling down on. He believes in the roster that missed the playoffs last year. The one thing that's changed is the coach behind the bench. So we'll see whether or not that ends up being the right call. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below regarding the contract that was handed out to Mat Barzal. Do you think it's too much? I do think there's going to be a lot of people who think that, it's probably too high. And does it affect the market? It's towards the end of this off-season's cycle. I don't know how much this contract's going to affect things going into next summer, but if I'm Bo Horvat and I'm looking at these numbers and I'm looking at that $9.15 million per year extension, I might be thinking, so how much am I worth today? And is it worth more than yesterday? Let me know your thoughts about that as well. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. If you're browsing your way through, you just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.